Welcome to another episode of One of Us Knows What They're Talking About, and the other one is you. I'm Lori Burch, your host. Join us as we discuss and unpack wills, trusts, estate planning, and probate law in a way that's actually informative, interesting, and, well, hopefully entertaining. Because if you don't have a will, the state of Texas has one for you. Let's dive in. We have kind of a blended topic today, and I want to start off with talking about some current trends that we're seeing. And it's something that we've seen in our practice in Dallas, Texas, but it's actually being seen across lots of different businesses. And in particular, well, I don't say in particular, but more specific to my knowledge, there are other estate planning and probate firms that are seeing the same sort of trend. And what it is what consumers are deciding to spend their money on and what they're not deciding to spend their money on. And starting in April, was there anything significant that started the beginning of April of this year?
My anniversary with Burch Law.
Our anniversary of seeing Taylor Swift. On that route.
Okay.
Just like
Sarah,
how about you?
Maybe some socioeconomic factors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well,
So that's when
Big words?
Tariffs.
Bro.
Wait, did you say that's a big word?
I almost said that's a big word for Elmo, but I stopped myself halfway through.
You still said big words.
That's all that came out of that, wanting to say that. That wasn't directed at you, Sarah.
That's fair.
Kind of.
It was 100% directed at Sarah. If I said that, would you be like, wow, Lori's using a big word?
The big word for Elmo? No.
Come on.
All right. But yes, so the beginning of April this year is when tariffs kicked in, I guess. Stock market was plummeting, lots of different things. So U.S. consumers are now making different spending decisions about things, about products and services. And so I have this one particular article that's interesting that addresses this, where it has a ranking of sources of concern for U.S. consumers. And I thought maybe I would just talk about the top few, but if you all have this up as well, not you, the listener, but you, the Burch Law people, want to. The number one is rising prices and inflation. So that's like, Sarah, what are you doing?
I am trying to fix my light. I didn't think you guys would notice.
You're flailing about.
No, it wasn't her moving. It was the light, like the light going across her.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. I mean, first the light in your office went off.
Yeah, and then you were trying to flail to get it on.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So again, number one source of concern for U.S. consumers is rising prices and inflation. I would say that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second one, just alluded to this, tariff policies. Okay. Those are the two. I mean, technically, I'd say three, because rising prices, like if you did a Venn diagram, Sarah, because it's your favorite, you could have tariff policies, rising prices, and then inflation, tariff policies, and then rising prices, because inflation causes rising prices, but so does tariff policies. But anyway, all of those three, big boat, very concerned for people. And then we have ability to make ends meet. And it never occurred to me MEET, not MEAT.
Uh,
I'm kidding. I'm just going to go right past that. I guess
Okay.
immigration policies, costs and accessibility of healthcare, international conflicts, political polarization. And I wanted to get to this one, and I'm not laughing because I'm minimizing this. I'm trying to see the connection. Gun/knife violence is a source of concern for U.S. consumers. Anyway, that ranks higher than climate change, stock market performance, and discrimination against certain groups of people. Higher than that is gun/knife violence, which is somehow influencing people's buying decisions.
I mean, because you can
kinda see
do,
it.
I don't know. Okay, please explain, because I was thinking, oh, people want to stay home more. However, we have online ordering.
Like, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like people think it's like unsafe to, go out and do things because of all the
I
stuff.
spend more
But I
online
can shop
than I
online.
ever have in a store.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, there's other ones here that are interesting, but yes, so that's it. It is rising and it is stark, and so then lots of people have already started to change their spending habits because of this. Very starkly, the statistics show. If you're into things like facts and reality, so. Here's this. Among consumers who expected to change their behavior, more than half plan to cut back on, and this is where rubber hits the road for our point here, non-essential spending. So we see that here are some spending habits. One, cutting back on non-essential spending. Like I just said, we're gonna put a pin in that, Sarah, and circle back.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna have a thought shower about it.
Oh,
Which I've never heard that used except by my corporate jargon GPS voice. Purchasing fewer items overall, switching to lower price products. Here's another one. So this is one to pay attention to. Delaying purchases, then buying items secondhand, purchasing from different stores, websites, making choices based on country of origin. Intriguing. But I get it with like tariffs and stuff. And making purchases sooner. Oh, if only. Let me see if there's anything else. So I think those are the big ones. So what am I getting at here? Besides, this is interesting and sad and scary in no particular order. But what am I getting at here?
people are viewing estate planning as non-essential. And
Is that hurtful to you, Sarah?
It is.
That is hurtful.
What the hell, guys?
It is. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
True. So we've experienced this. We've experienced, and we know other businesses have. There's less people reaching out. There's more people putting it off. So delaying. And that's always been a trend. But I think the biggest mistake to come out of this is viewing an estate plan, a will, a trust, a power of attorney as a non-essential item or service or product. And then, we could really dive deep, but I know we've got some more fun things to tie into this. But we could get into, do we think, where we see the switching to lower price products, do we think that some people who would ordinarily want to do this right by going to a qualified law firm are doing what the misperception is of better than nothing with the online stuff? There's no way for us to know personally, because it's not like they tell us that, I would guess that that's probably lower in what the trends are showing. But the thing that is unfortunate about all of this is that I don't know how you can consider something that you absolutely are going to need that will have a significant impact on your children, on your loved ones, on your family, and on the hard-earned money and assets that you have. It's definitely going to be affected. It's definitely going to be needed. How on earth do you consider that non-essential?
I mean, we saw the same thing in 2020 whenever we couldn't come to the office because we were considered a non-essential business.
Right.
And that was a
Um,
time whenever, more than anything, a lot of people really needed the basics of having a medical power of attorney,
Right.
things like
Right.
that.
And so we're charged with spreading the message and the education of this is absolutely not something that is non-essential. We get it. I mean, all of us on this podcast are consumers ourselves, right? Now, I know personally that the people at the office have not had a decline in any sort of income. In fact, they've had increases there. But have any of you changed any of your spending habits in light of, as Sarah would put it, socioeconomic factors?
We have some.
yeah, a little bit.
What are examples? Because Kimberly and I are not in that category.
No, well, one of the biggest things for me is I like to do this thing throughout the year where I buy myself little treats that I'll like save up for, like an item that I want.
Yeah.
So I'll be tracking the price, and then I'll be like, okay, by this date I'll buy this, by this date I'll buy this. Well, with everything increasing, I was like, well, I have to adjust some of those plans. So I ended up buying a few items sooner than I would have. And then also with other things, we've put off like buying certain things. So it's just a matter of like, okay, well, this is now just doesn't seem reasonable to us. And then we start, yes, we do think about reasonable compared to what, but then we're looking at something like on the economic scale, everything is fluctuating so quickly, up, down, and nothing is stable. So it's like, okay, well, if we don't absolutely need it, we can put it off for a little bit. And I feel like that's a category where people will get into. But then once you start looking at, okay, well, what is a necessity versus what is a want? And so that's how we're really looking at it. If it's a necessity, we're still going to buy groceries. We're still going to buy eggs. I still have a very strong opinion versus one brand of cottage cheese versus another one. But if it's like something like an electronic or like something like that for fun, it's like, I don't need it. I'm okay. I can put that off until something is more like stable.
Yeah. Sarah, you said yes. So what spending habits of yours have changed?
Kind of similar. It's like just putting things off. You know, if I don't really need it, it's, you know, I'm just gonna wait. Like, I don't know. We still buy groceries and all that, but we do cut down.
You do? I would
We
hope
do.
so.
We
Big
cut down on,
spender. Got a Rockefeller over here.
we
how
cut
dare
down
you
on like
eat?
what we buy.
Yeah, same.
Because I use the HEB app and I can see like even 6 months ago the price difference on certain items, and it's ridiculous. So it's like where if it's something like we used to buy you know, for fun as like a little treat or something, but now it's like $2 or $3 more. No, it's not on the list anymore. So it's like little things like that. It's like, I don't know.
So we already know some things that, because it's what we do, that are essential that people perceive as, that some people, not everybody, because we're still rocking and rolling, okay, everybody, but there's been some shifts, that's for sure. But what items do you think people are considering essential, and feel free to put yourself in this category, that actually are in fact non-essential? Sam, let's start with you. Is there anything that you think is that people are considering essential, but actually not so essential?
My first thought was the Switch 2 just came out. And so many people bought that. And it's the same people who are complaining that things are rising. But
how much is it?
Like 500 or 600?
I think it's closer to 6 something.
Yeah. I think it was originally going to be, like $499, but then they announced it. Tariffs, I think, officially went into effect, and then they rose the price, I think.
Man.
Correctly.
What else?
What about your cruises?
Cruises. Why is it your cruises? There's somebody here that's like,
yeah. So right now,
no, I'm just going on cruises next year.
The bundle for it is $499, so with tax,
okay,
5 something.
Yeah.
But people are putting off like.
Sam, are you going on a bunch of cruises?
Going on 2 next year.
Wow.
I know. I'm so happy that I'm spending so much money.
Where are you going?
The one with my family, it's Cozumel, then I think somewhere else. The one with Justin, Allie, and Britt for their 30th birthday birthday cruise. But I'm also calling it my 30th birthday cruise, but they just don't know that. We're going to Bahamas, and then the perfect day at Coco Bay, which is like Royal Caribbean's beach that they have.
Nice.
Okay. So would you consider vacationing essential or non-essential?
Non-essential.
And yet here we are.
But
and here we are.
Fun.
It is fun.
Right. Well, and it's fun. And does it make memories?
It does.
It does.
Is it something you share with your family and loved ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good and bad memories.
For sure.
Bad memories.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Would you say that when you're dead and gone, that you would rather your loved ones reflect upon those memories, good and bad, than to have to deal with a total mess of court battles and red tape through title companies or financial institutions? Is that the stuff your story is made of, Sam?
Yeah. No. It is not, because I have my own estate planning.
No. Did you even listen to what I said?
Yes.
Yeah, I joking. Did I hear it?
Well, you answered wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Can you repeat the question? Thank you.
Yeah, can you just repeat it?
Would you rather your family and loved ones have those memories of those shared times together? Would you rather them be able to focus on that when you're long gone than court battles and confusion and red tape with title companies, selling homes, financial institutions, and all of that?
Yeah. That was my bad. I thought you were, anyway, correct. I heard it wrong. It's fine.
We all know that, Sam. We were just waiting for you to catch up with that realization.
Fine. We're fine. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I want them to focus on the good stuff.
Focus on the good stuff. So maybe we'll transition to that. How's that? That we will transition to focusing on the good stuff. So we have, you want to talk about some vacation memories, but let me look at what you all prepared today. What is the point of what you prepared today? Are these
are memories you can make.
Memories to make. So do you want to save this for last and take a few moments to talk about some of your own personal memories? Because I'm hoping most of these are not actual memories.
There's one that I think can have a memory or two to them, and that's really about it. I think the other ones are just us being dumb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you
I
all
want
have
you to
any
rephrase
personal?
that. Can
Yeah,
you say
it's fine.
us having fun?
Us having fun.
Okay.
All right. So what we'll do first is, why don't each of you share like one or two vacation memories, good or bad, that you've had? Don't everybody speak at once.
Well, the bad one I want to say, I'm not going to say, or Sarah has to cut it out. But I think you guys already know it. So
I feel like one of the a really nice story for me is my brother and I are 10 years apart. So a lot of people, whenever I say, oh yeah, no, I feel like I'm the only child, they're like, you have a brother. I'm like, okay, 10 years difference, it doesn't really feel that way, because you're also like, they also spoil you. It's not just like your parents, helping with stuff. It's also like your sibling. So whenever we would go on vacations, for example, we went to Disney. So we did the road trip all the way from Texas to Orlando.
that's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
Same.
Yeah. I feel like
long.
you have to do it at least once, and I've done it twice. So we were there, and then this is back when I feel like Fast Pass was just kind of taking off in a slightly different way. So we didn't realize like what it was just yet whenever we bought like the tickets for everybody to go in. But once we were in, my brother started realizing, wait, there's Fast Pass available. Like, this is a thing. So he went up to somebody and, sorry, Mr. Big Cheese, but Disney's not going to say no to taking more of your money. And they were like, where can I get this? Because it wasn't like, apps and everything on smartphones weren't a thing. So we were able to go somewhere, and they're like, here's where you sign up for it. You get this whole thing. And so we were like, okay, things are different now. So like my brother would do that for us. And our parents didn't really want to ride rides. They just kind of wanted to walk around and wander. So we would splinter off from them, and it would just be me and him, like just doing stuff and fast passing our way through Disney. And then whenever, I think it was the next day or the day after, we were also going to Universal. So whenever we were at the gate, he also was like, hey, is this a thing that y'all have? And they're like, yeah. So we like went ahead and did that there. And one of my favorite things is we rode every single ride, including the Woody the Woodpecker ride in the children's area.
Oh my gosh.
You should.
Wow. Definitely can't miss. Bucket list time.
We love Woody the Woodpecker. My brother and I are Woody the Woodpecker children. But yeah, it was just like a really nice thing where we were able just to splinter off from our parents and have fun, but it's also like, aw, he cared.
Lovely.
He still does.
Wonderful.
But it's just
in the way
memories.
A brother can. Yeah. Nice. Who else has
like,
got
he was really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else has got a memory that they want to share?
Wow, y'all are really
no. I couldn't tell if it was that thing again where Sarah looked like she was kind of about to say something, but
it did look like you were like tangoing with a thought.
Yeah, I was.
Like I've been on vacations with I'm trying to like think. One memory that always stands out is unshockingly that I'm about to say this now that Sarah called me out. But my parents love cruises. Like they had to stop because of COVID, but they're actually going on an Alaskan one in a couple months, which I'm very jealous about. But we went to the Caribbean. It's been a couple years ago. Was this pre-year? I think so. But there is a sloth sanctuary that you can go to in Lemon. And it is the coolest thing. I spent all of my money there. I was saving all of my money for that one day. We got to go through like the jungle, and they pointed out like the wild like monkeys and sloths, and there was like a group of monkeys that had exiled one of them, and they were like yelling at him. It was crazy.
Wow.
But we like learned about sloths, and we got to meet Buttercup the sloth, who's like the the main show girly there.
The main
And
girl.
it was really not like that. Like not like that. Like she was just the main attraction.
I mean,
in terms of
hold on. I need you to go back. What do you think I meant? Because whenever you said the main show girly, I was like, okay, so it's the main like one, and then you're like, not like that. I'm like, I need you to explain to me what you think.
I don't know. If,
I imagine pasties.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
and shimmy.
I think showgirl, and then I think I start clicking more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lori's
clicking or kicking in line.
Can no.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to go there. We got to go, I think, to Colombia, and then I don't remember the third place. I think it might have been in Mexico. I think actually that was Cosmo. But so like we got to see like the Mayan ruins, and we got to just like experience other countries, and it's just really cool. It's cool that you can do that.
That's
I
nice.
was with my parents, so I got to be baby the entire time.
Were your siblings with you, or no? It was just you and your parents?
Okay. Just us three. It was on Princess Cruises, which is all old people. So I was the youngest by about 40 years.
Sam.
Did you say 40?
You know what? That's fine.
Yeah. There was
they were
a couple
40 years older than her.
Yeah. Like there was a couple who was ziplining with us that was 95 and I think like 97 years old. It was crazy.
Dang.
They were doing it too.
You know, if you're that mobile at that age, go off.
Yeah, right.
I'll never forget the clients we had years ago who were anxious to get their will and trust in place before they were going on a cruise. And for some reason, I thought they were afraid of being attacked by Vikings on their cruise. And I'm like, where?
That, right? Yeah.
We're just going on a Viking cruise.
Well, to be fair, the way she put it was that she was scared that while they were cruising in the Nile, that they would get kidnapped on Vikings or by Viking or like something. The way she
the Nile and Vikings, and then later, whenever she finally like slowed down and explained it, this happened like 2 years ago. We were like, "Oh, you're going on a Viking cruise on the Nile." Okay, it all makes sense. Yeah, we were having a moment.
Yeah,
understanding it. All right.
We were all very confused.
Of all the things that U.S. consumers are concerned about, I do not see being attacked by Vikings on this list.
The chances are low, but never zero.
Never.
I mean, I guess so. Like,
Sarah, what memory you got?
Oh boy.
You had all this time to think.
I know. There's just so many.
To see this coming. There are, and yet you've had 24 hours to think of one.
So I think one of my favorite ones is, it was like during COVID, but I had just graduated from my undergrad, and so my grad present was a trip to Colorado with my mom, aunt, and stepsister, and we road tripped there, and it was just really cool. I had never been to Colorado before, but we like saw the Rockies and we saw the Stanley Hotel, which was really cool.
Nice.
And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Oh, my cousin was there too. Well, she lived in Colorado, so we hiked and stuff with her, and like it was just fun. My mom and aunt didn't end up getting in a huge fight, and they didn't talk on the way back, but it was fun.
Isn't that
regardless.
fun?
Listen, it is not a proper family trip if at least one mom does not threaten to never speak to somebody else again.
Right.
Yeah.
My mom was like, it was bad.
Family vacation fights are so much more interesting than when you can go back to your own home.
Yeah.
And like the smaller the space you're in, just the more just can't cut through that with the knife.
It was bad.
Even worse when they like last past the trip too. Like, why are you still not speaking to each other? It's been 2 weeks since coming home. Please.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up here with this, whatever this is that Sarah and Sam
You call
do.
life.
I mean, I like all of you. Lots of great memories of trips, road trips, vacations, growing up with my own family. One of my favorite things is for several years, my mom, my sister, and my great aunt Norma, we would do a girls' trip to Graceland for Elvis Week in August, and so great times there. My Aunt Norma has now passed, and in fact, my youngest is named after her. Her middle name is Jean, which was my Aunt Norma's middle name. And so that is how we got an Elvis connection in one of my children's names, and also something very personal. And we still have so many jokes and stuff for many of those. But one that I want to share is not like the most necessarily significant, but I don't know why it's the one that popped in my head. So the first time we went to Hawaii as a family, it was before Poppy was born. So we went to Maui. It was Kimberly, me, Carly, Kai, and Adley. And I guess Adley had to be about 2. Yeah, she
Was
must have
this
been
the
about
time
2
you took
years
the
old.
nanny?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Adley is a really picky eater. And so, and for those of you who have been to Hawaii, it is very expensive there. It's very expensive for 2 reasons. One, it costs a lot of money to get food there. And 2, it's kind of like the Disneyland effect. Like, where else are you going to go? You're locked in when you're going to like touristy restaurants and that sort of thing. But even like McDonald's is way more expensive there than it is on the mainland. And so Adley would only eat French fries, but we were always trying to also get her to eat the chicken fingers with it. And we were laying down like $18 for a kid's meal for French fries and chicken. And we're like, please, Adley, like, let me cut it up into like microscopic bites and just have 3 bites, just 3 bites. And like every time, and on vacation, so that you don't have, the same family arguments that you have, it's like, fine, we just gave in. And we were there for a whole week, and every day it was $25 kid meal, $18 kid meal. Let's try and get her to have some sort of protein. Let's get some protein in this kid. And she's just like, no, she won't. So the very last day, there is this parking lot that has all these different food trucks. So we all went, and because she won't eat anything else, it's not like we could go get a salad or anything else from any of these other trucks, a barbecue, no. So I go to where they have French fries and chicken fingers. And so I did not get her chicken fingers. I'm like, forget it. Screw it. This is our last day. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not spending the money. So we're ordering all the food. We're sitting down. We're putting food in front of everybody. I put Adley's little box in front of her, and she opens it up and she looks at me, no lie, and says, where's the chicken?
I can see it so clearly.
Where's the chicken? Yeah.
It's essential.
So
yeah.
She's learned at that point that it just comes with it.
Yeah, it's like I was finally ready to try that. What the heck? I said I was going to at some point. This was the time I chose, and no chicken. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see what memories we have, because we're about to embark on another family Hawaiian vacation here in just a few weeks, actually. Ooh, excited. So anyway, to wrap it up, because Sam or Sarah have somewhere to go or something to do.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. I mean,
the calendar tells us.
Maybe
we do know.
Maybe I'll never know, because I can't keep
Maybe
the two of
Lori
you
will
straight.
never know.
So let's talk about what you two have, where you want to close us out with memories to make on vacation. And then you can decide or to share whether these are ones you've actually experienced or these are just ones that you think sound like really great memories to make. Go.
All right. So, number 1, we have fight with your spouse and cause trauma. This does not sound like a fun memory, but it sounds common, so we put it on there.
Yeah.
From 2 people who've never been married. Okay.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're the ones that got the trauma from their parents.
Right.
Fair enough.
Number 2, get sunburned so bad that you get blisters, which we have
Okay.
both also
Yeah,
experienced.
you're both pale girlies.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine wasn't on vacation. Mine was just it was during the summer, and I was at my best friend's house. Her cousins were visiting. We were in the pool. Her sister and mom go get groceries, forget we're out there, and lock us out. And so we're out in Texas summer heat. It was the middle of summer for like 2 or 3 hours, and I got a huge blister on my foot. Like it was the size of my foot. It was gross.
That's
It
awful.
was nasty. Do not recommend.
No?
No, I know. Surprising, right?
Yeah. All right. Number 3. Spend all your money. I personally do that. I have no
Oh.
self-control.
No, neither do I.
Yeah,
Great.
they don't.
The next one, part of this is really just a wish list for us in terms of where we would like to go. So you're going to go to the new Epic Universe Land in Florida, and specifically go to Nintendo World and buy a Toad hat. But if you're not us and you have one and you would like to donate it to us, please let us know.
So when you say Toad hat, do you mean it actually is like a mushroom, or that it just has... Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
It would go with Sarah's, she can finally be Toad for Halloween.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We just need to get you a little blue vest, some white shorts, some brown shoes.
Yeah.
And we got the whole thing. We're good to go.
Yeah, I'm on board.
All right. Buy a souvenir you'll never look at again. I personally love doing this.
I'm anti-souvenirs, thank you.
I like getting magnets because I just like to have
Me
my
too.
fridge covered.
Yeah.
I don't
Magnets
like
and
tchotchkes.
stickers.
And stickers,
I don't like things that don't have any function to them.
Yes.
So a magnet arguably is something you could use to like put your grocery list up or something like that.
Or
So
put 'em in
I
clothes.
can make an argument for magnets. But I've gotten rid of way too many shot glasses.
Yes. If my mother brings me back
Or-
another shot glass.
I did that to my friends when we were in Florida. I got like the word you have a
Memphis
cat
Watson.
behind you, where it was like #1 grandpa and like dumb stuff like that. And I thought I was the funniest person.
Get the #1 grandpa for Sarah, and she'd probably really like that.
I would.
Yeah.
Is it a total Gen X thing when people would collect like little bells? Like it was like a silver, it almost looked like
Oh God, my
very
mom has
thin,
those.
and then it, like, we never did, but I just remember when we go on trips, we would always see those, and it would have like the name of the city or the state or location.
My mom has a collection of the bells.
It's usually like
gosh.
the keychains that you see that have like the name on it.
That's what I probably am going to get once she's no longer with us. I'll send them to my brother.
What a wild package to like hear. It's just like jingling.
Well, they're all freaking ceramic.
Oh.
That's fair.
Memphis
like
is
little
in here, but I
ceramic
don't know
bells.
where. Oh, there it is. Okay, what's next?
Next, lose all of your belongings, preferably at
What?
the airport, so you don't know which country they're in. It's a mystery. Yay. Fun.
There's not
We
anything
never
that
said
could
we never said these
possibly
were
be
good
more
memories.
triggering to me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No.
Well, you're not leaving the country.
Just road trip to find it.
Yeah. I mean, the airlines have lost my luggage many a times.
Man,
They found
say
it,
that.
thankfully. But
That was
I've
that was
never
such a
personally
fear.
lost anything.
That was such a fear when we moved to America because all of our belongings were on a ship for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was, for some reason, 12-year-old me was convinced that it was going to sink. And I'd never see my bed again. Because
Sam, your anxiety is really fascinating to be
Thank you.
around.
I'm not like an anxious person overall, but I just
No,
have
you're
very
typically
specific
not.
anxiety.
It's a very, very specific things that it's like, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
All
Yeah.
right. Next, we've had getting carsick or seasick, depending on your mode of transportation.
Yeah.
That seems like fun.
Really?
I mean,
Thank you,
it's a
Sarah.
memory. You never promised fun.
Correct.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. There's really
You
a,
just
yeah.
promised memories.
The list is titled just memories to make on
I mean,
vacation.
some of the worst things that happened are the strongest memories.
True.
Yeah.
Trauma. Bonds us all.
Trauma
And
bonding.
then
It's a thing.
And then finally, not that this is a personal story or anything, but get portrayed by your parents who sneak ginger pills into your McDonald's cheeseburger because you get seasick, specifically going on the ferry, and you find said ginger pills and said McDonald's cheeseburger, and it traumatizes your younger self so much that you pull apart every single burger you eat for the next 10 years and eat it all separately.
I feel like you still kind of inspect your burgers before you're willing to bite into them.
You think so? I haven't noticed, but I finally forced myself to stop when I was like 18.
I have a question.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Does this mean that the cheeseburger tasted like ginger?
No, I think I just for some reason either knocked it, or for some reason my brain just decided to lift it up, because I remember this memory vividly. And they were just two little pills sitting right on top of the cheeseburger meat, and it traumatized me.
They're supposed to put the
Amateur hour.
pills in peanut butter and have you lick it off a spoon. Or put it on your nose.
No, those methods didn't work, unfortunately.
I don't know how to kill you.
Get the little treats and stuff them in there. And
Do you know what they've done now, Sam, since all of us were that young? Is they have every medicine now in liquid form.
yeah,
Still not always easy to get down.
no, I just the taste of ginger, I cannot do it. I still can't.
Yeah, I'm not much of a ginger person. Well, good. I think that's good, and I hope this inspires our many, many fans to think upon their own vacation memories, whether they're positive or not so positive. They're part of who you are and part of your story, and those are the things that we need to focus on, and so that you build your legacy for that, and to remember that part of that is. Vacations may not be essential, but the memories are, just as having a solid estate plan.
Thanks for listening. And just to cover all our bases about what you just heard, I'm sorry and you're welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And tell your friends about us. We do webinars and live events. The best way to stay up to date is to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. If there's a topic you'd like us to cover, maybe you have a question you'd like us to answer, or maybe you just want to say hi, hit the link in the show notes or go to burch-law.com/podcast and fill out the contact form.
Much better.
Yeah, I thought that had a lot of energy.